Hey, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today I'm giving you my top 10. Now, let me tell you, I was going through my old videos and I found out that the last time I made a top 10 musicals video was 2020. That was 5 years ago. And you know, shockingly, since 2020, my top 10 musicals have in fact changed because it's been a long time and I wasn't even 18 when I made that video, which is actually not even something I want to think about, but it's okay, it's fine. We live, we move. I'm 22. But yes, today I'm talking about my top 10 musicals. And because I'm talking about my top 10 musicals, I think you guys should leave down in the comments what's your favourite musical, and are there any musicals that I say that didn't make my top 10 that are in fact on yours? If you feel so inclined, put your whole top 10 down there. I'll definitely read it because I have nothing better to do with my life at the moment. But yes, today I'm doing top 10 musicals, which actually took me quite a bit longer than I thought. I hadn't really thought about it in a long time, and I was like, I need to gather my thoughts. I need to reevaluate my choices. So that's exactly what I'm doing today. But before I get into this video, remember that you can like, comment, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff, and you can also follow me at my social medias, which is Hope Wilson E. That's Hope Wilson with an E on Instagram and on TikTok. And this is just a quick PSA that if I don't mention a musical that you like, or you hear me mention a musical which I've said I've really liked in another video, that doesn't mean I'm lying. I just love a lot of musicals. So I think with all that being said, without further ado, let's get into it. Also, if I look really ratty, I'm sorry. I decided to leave my house, and in the one singular hour I did, it decided to chuck it down with rain. It has been blue skies for the rest of the day, so there's not much I can do about that. But at number 10, we have Beauty and the Beast. Now, Belle has been an absolute dream role since I can remember, really. I think as Disney's go, it's definitely one of the strongest, and obviously when I saw the show, which was quite a while ago now, technically it's one of the most beautiful shows that you can find. I think the music is great. I think the relationships are good. Yeah, there's a bit of Stockholm Syndrome going on, but we can let it live in its corner because it's just such a good show. And I think when you have any Disney production, you know, you have some faith that it's gonna be good. I'm still waiting for a Little Mermaid revival. I want to see another person on roller skates. Do you know what I mean? I think it's such a fun idea. Everyone hated it at the time, but not me. But I think it sits at number 10 because it just has this very special place for me in my heart and in my life. It's such a beautiful show that I think everyone should give a chance if you haven't already. Okay, number 9. I was gonna say, am I getting controversial with this? But low-key, I think I'm not, because it's still in my top 10. So how can it be controversial when I still really love the show? Les Miserables. Now, I don't know what it is about Les Mis, but I think it's just the absolute genius of the show. I love a good sung through show, I can't lie. Like, give me some kind of sung through musical, I'll probably get by. There's quite a few of them in my top 10, but I just feel like Les Mis is just, it's a classic show that I very much appreciate. I think the story is interesting. I think the people are interesting. Yeah, Marius is a bit of a wet wipe, but Empty Chairs at Empty Tables just really brings it back for me. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's such a good and solid show, and like the opening of Les Mis, so amazing, such perfection, unmatched. Well, it is matched, but evenly matched with musicals in my top 10. Low-key get me in it, more like high-key get me in it. I need to refresh from the trauma that was the 2020 cursed production of Les Miserables that I did, because we can't even talk about it. I look like this. Does this look like somebody's who is okay? Because they were not okay. And just as reference this picture, I was probably the second most sick I've ever been in my life, and there was a lot of drama that happened, so we don't talk about it. I got over it because it's still in my top 10, but I need a new lease on this show. Yeah. Number 8 is Into the Woods. Now, are we surprised there's a Sondheim on this list? No, we absolutely are not, and it's definitely not going to be the last one. But Into the Woods is absolute genius. I think people don't give it the time of day unless those people are me, and I just think that it's like a great introduction to Stephen Sondheim. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I think the music is like absolutely gorgeous. It's also, I think, a very special Sondheim to me because it's basically the only one I've actually ever interacted with in real life. So I've seen a production of Into the Woods, and let me tell you, I will be going to see that production of Into the Woods in November when it comes to the bridge. I'm telling you this now. I literally saw it in like 2017, 2018, long time ago now. I just was in an abridged production of the show. If you didn't know, I was Little Red and Florinda, and I was also vocal captain. So I had a lot on my plate, but it was a great time. And yeah, I had another point to make, but I don't actually remember what it was to do with Into the Woods. But I love this show. It's a very special show to me. Like, I just think from a storytelling perspective, it's super strong. And like James Lapine and Stephen Sondheim, like, they're a great little pairing, I must say. And I just think it's great. I don't have much else to say other than it's great. I think it's a really good time. It's a fun time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will be thoroughly enjoying it for the foreseeable future. Number 7 is Billy Elliot. Now, I'm actually quite sad that it's this low down on my list because I adore this show, like absolutely adore it, but I just had to make space for other things, which feels really criminal, but like, trust that I love this musical. Billy Elliot was the first musical I saw after I like gained consciousness, if people know what I mean. I was aware that I was seeing Billy Elliot. I think the show is so endearing and heartwarming, even though the like vibe of the show is not that, it very much is. I think it's a very inspiring show. I think the music is like masterful in a way. I think it's a musical that a lot of people don't really talk about, like, ever, which is criminal, I have to say. But I just think there's so much talent required to pull that show off and make that show what it is, and I just feel like people deliver every single time. I think it balances like comedy and heart really well, but also keeping it like serious. Like, there's so much to say about this show that I just feel like I can't talk about it too much because I'm just going to be saying it's great, it's amazing, because it is. But like, the premise is like Billy Elliot is a young boy who skips boxing one time and ends up finding a love for dance and ends up being really good at it, and it's about him and his family and like how he maneuvers it because it's set during the mining strikes in the UK. There's just so much to like about it, and I really think if it's one where you've been like, oh, I've never really listened to that one before, go listen to it because it's just great. It's great. And I know I'm going to say that about all these shows, but it is my top 10. So go listen to these musicals right now. Okay, at number 6 is Sweeney Todd. I was really debating whether Sweeney Todd was going to make the top 5 because, my God, what a show. But I ultimately decided to put it at 6 because the thing I ended up putting at 5, I was like, I talk about the show too much to not put it in my top 5. But Sweeney Todd at number 6, another Stephen Sondheim musical, because are we surprised? No, we're not. Sweeney Todd is set in like Victorian era, and it's about this guy who comes back from being carted off to Australia for a crime he didn't commit, and he basically wants his daughter back, and he wants #revenge on the judge, and it's about how he gets that. And he was also a barber, which kind of comes into it if you think about revenge. But again, music, absolute perfection. I don't think there's really anything I could like complain about music wise. I think story wise it's interesting. I think the characters are some of the most iconic musical characters ever, like Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. Hello, they're absolute gems of musical theatre, and I think they're great. I think it's also such a unique show. I don't think any show that attempts to be like it has ever been like it. I think any show that's kind of set with the same vibe come out with such a different vibe to Sweeney Todd. Like, if you compare it to like Jekyll and Hyde, which is also a great show, but if you compare it to like Jekyll and Hyde, the execution there is very different, even though they're kind of set in similar times. But I think this show is smart. I think the wordplay is fantastic. I think there's really nothing like watching people watch Sweeney Todd for the first time. I remember when I was at Conti, they did a production of Sweeney Todd, The Thirches, and obviously I knew how it ended, and so did my friend, but my other friend did not, and a bunch of other people in our year did not. And watching their reactions to the last like 20-25 minutes of the show is truly insane. It was more entertaining than watching the show because you don't really think a lot about plot twists when you know a plot twist, but my God, like, it made the experience so much better. And I just think like it's a classic musical theatre show, which like if you haven't checked out, you should, because it's great. And there truly is nothing like Sweeney Todd in the musical theatre world. Okay, number 5 is Dogfight. Now, Dogfight has actually never been in my top 10. Not for the reasons that I'd never given it the time of day. It was just because I never realised how much I liked it. And it wasn't until I made more videos on YouTube that I realised how much I liked the show. I'm obsessed. Literally obsessed. So, if you didn't know, Dogfight is based off a film, and it's basically about these guys who are training to be Marines. I swear I said this exact same thing in my last video, but anyway, they're training to be Marines, and they have this bet where they bring the ugliest girl, and whoever brings the ugliest girl gets a load of money. And Eddie is our main character and Rose, and they end up falling in love, and it's this beautiful story. But then there's also a lot of trauma because they're training for the war, and then they go to war, and you can probably guess what happens, and it's just a lot. The end is amazing. Like, it's actually flawless, and people have never given it the time of day, and this one is like an actually has never given it the time of day, because no one I know talks about it. Not a single person. Or they only talk about it if I bring it up, and I'll always bring it up because I love the show. I think musically it's probably Pascal Paul's strongest ever, which may be controversial, but I just think it's true personally. I think it's smart and beautiful. I think it's musically really interesting. Like, it really sits in a unique place, and I think it captures youth in music so well. Story-wise, I think it's interesting. There's just so much to really like about the show, and the fact that it's never been revived, like really ever, because it was off Broadway and it never transferred, and then I think there was a quick stint in the UK, but nobody talked about it, not one. So I just think that if it was like marketed more as a show, people would like it because it's so good. I just have so many good things to say about Dogfight because it's truly great, and I have nothing more to say. Okay, at number 4 is Falsettos. I really feel like I can't say much about the show because there's just nothing for me to critique. Again, a sung through show about what you think is about like relationships and like growing up in Judaism and all this, but is really just about heart-wrenching subjects. How special life is. The show is just so good. The second act is just like the most heartbreaking U-turn in like musicals. Oh, it's so sad, but like all the people in it are always so talented, and the music is wonderful, and the storytelling is really what I think makes it. I think it is really, really phenomenal storytelling wise, and you know, William Finn, James Lapine making another entrance onto this list. Underrated man, I have to say. That is just so great. Like, it's heartbreaking and funny, and I feel like I'm saying unique a lot, but all these shows are so unique to each other, which is why I think I like them so much. I love a good show that makes something its own, and I think most of these aren't adaptations, I think, or if they are, they're adaptations of books. So it's just 2 hours of like ultimate happy and sadness, and like I can't complain because I do love a sad musical, so I appreciate it for what it is, and what it is magical. Okay, number 3, Come From Away. This has gone up in my rankings because I think I always had it at about like 5. I think it was normally sat at number 5, or like sometimes it was at like number 7, but I had to think about it, and I was like, no, this deserves to be in the top 3 because it is just like perfect. If you went up to someone and was like, yeah, one of my favorite shows is about 9/11, but it's really funny, people are gonna look at you weird because that's not okay. But Come From Away is so expertly written as a show that it makes it work. Like, you know that it must be some kind of insanely amazing show if they can make it happen and no one be like offended by it. I think what's also inspiring is that it's based on a true story or something that actually happened, and all the people in it are based off real people. And like, you think, oh, this story's so amazing, like all these people and how they came to help and how all these stories happened and this, and there was happiness and sadness and like all of these things. And to know that it was real, and to know that like people actually care about other people and stuff, it's just a really nice thing to know. I think it's probably the first show I've seen where a one-act show works so well. There's no interval in Come From Away, and I just don't think you need it at all. I think it really expertly orchestrates it. Come From Away was my first West End show, so in that way it's really special. I just think there's so many amazing things to say about Come From Away, and I would call it an underrated musical. I tend to not to use that term, and I do feel like it gets some recognition, but I do not think it gets enough recognition for what it is, because it truly is amazing as a show. And like, I think it also inspired a new style of show. Like, I think stuff like Benjamin Button was very much inspired by Come From Away, and so I think I really appreciate it for that reason as well. But it's a really beautiful story, really beautiful show, characters great, like music great, so much to like. Okay, at number 2, I feel like 2 and 1 have been at 2 and 1 for a very long time, and number 2 is Miss Saigon. I want to preface by saying, like, I'm aware of the issues of Miss Saigon, like the white savior narrative and the fact that it was written by white men. I completely understand that. There are just so many amazing things about the show that just can't be ignored. Like, musically, I think it, again, absolute perfection. I think obviously it's based off Madame Butterfly, the opera by Puccini. Could be making that up, but hopefully I'm not. Kim as a character, tragically beautiful as like a character, not as like an appearance thing. Like, musically, it's just immense. Like, Bubel and Schomburg, I probably really pronounced their names wrong, but they really know what they're doing when it comes to an orchestra. They also wrote Les Mis. Like, they know what they're doing. I think aesthetically it's a beautiful show. I think it balances a lot of different topics really well. I honestly don't know what to say. This is what happens when I talk. I feel like I've talked less and less and less about as the musicals have gone on, because the more I like something, the less I can explain why, because I just think that they're phenomenal and amazing. Like, they're just so good. Like, Miss Saigon is just one of the most well-written shows, orchestrated. I have no words. I literally have no words for the show, other than I think it's pretty perfect and amazing. Okay, and number 1. I feel like people can probably guess number 1 if you've seen literally any of my videos, because I bring it up at literally any chance I get. But my favourite show, drum roll, is Company. Of course it is. Stephen Sondheim is my favourite man of all time, so of course my favourite musical is going to be by him. And I just think that Company is absolute genius in every way, shape, form. I need to play Bobby. It's gonna happen. I'm every time I bring it up, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be in it, and I'm gonna be Bobby, and things are gonna be great and amazing, and I'm gonna have a great time, because I'm gonna be tearing my own heart out every day I play that role, and I will have the best time. Company is a very special show to me, not for any particular reason. I just think that I have no notes. Like, if someone was like, what's something you don't like about Company? I don't have an answer for you. I don't have one. I have nothing. I have nothing to say. I think stylistically it's unique. I think it perfectly follows the episodic structure. It feels like it's in chronological order, even though it's not. I think that Bobby is an insanely relatable character who is just absolute perfection and is written so amazingly. I think, to me, it very much feels like a show where acting is just as important as singing, and I think sometimes that can get a bit lost with other shows. I think it's smart. I think it's funny. I think it's just everything I need in a musical. Like, is it crazy to say that since, because I think Company's been my favourite musical since I was like, it was like just after I made that video. It was probably like 6 months later I realised that Company was my favourite show. It was number 10 in that video, and look where it is now. If you would have thought that me at like 18 could relate to this 35-year-old man and like be like, this is the perfect musical for me, like, I feel like people would be like, yeah, right. But it's 5 years later, and I still agree. I think it's a perfect show, and I have no notes, and I think I'm just going to leave you with that, because otherwise I'm just going to get on a rant talking about how much I love the show. So, that was my top 10. If we could quickly go through. Number 10, Beauty and the Beast. Number 9, Les Mis. Number 8, Into the Woods. Number 7, Billy Elliot. Number 6, Sweeney Todd. Number 5, Dogfight. Number 4, Falsettos. Number 3, Come From Away. Number 2, Miss Saigon. Number 1, Company. I actually almost said Heathers because I said Heathers in my other video. But that is my top 10. Let me know what your top 10 is down in the comments. And if you're leaving a comment, you can also like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff, because it really helps me out, I have to say. You can also follow me on my social medias, which is Hope Wilson Eve. That's Hope Wilson with an E on Instagram and TikTok. And with that, I will see you in the next one.